I'll show you how to do an infinite respawning nightmare dungeon. This is gonna get patched. You know this is gonna get patched. So, I'm gonna show you guys how to do it. Of course. Knowledge is not for keeping. So, there's, a thing right now. And if you can take advantage of it, I encourage you to do so. Find yourself a decent level nightmare dungeon that you can run that has like the magic find affix because you can run it infinitely. You can't. Now, caveat to this is not for getting points on the glyphs. This is just for running the dungeon itself and having like the higher level enemies, etc, like that sort of thing, and for getting these like ones like this that have like bonus to magic find. It just means you're gonna get more gear, which means it's gonna be more profitable to run that. It'll be more profitable to run something like this or a gold find one. Now, as far as I know, this only works in solo mode right now, so it doesn't work with parties. But we'll go here. Gold find, magic find. Let's do magic find. 32, 54. That's like 86. That should be a lot. That should be fine though. Step 1, activate Nightmare Dungeon. Step 2, go to Nightmare Dungeon. Okay, pretty easy peasy so far. Alright, so what you want to do is, when you arrive at your Nightmare Dungeon that you want to farm infinitely, right? I say that in quotation marks because at some point you're going to have to complete it to go to another higher tier, because you're going to level up to a certain point, whatever, but infinitely, because you can literally keep doing this as much as you want. So what you need to do first is you need to clear the first objective. Whatever it says for you to do, do it. Clear it out, bang it out as quick as possible. So this one we got is free the prisoners. That's unfortunate. I did not cherry pick this one. So we're going to go through and we're going to free all 4 prisoners. And I'll show you the next step. So there we go. So we just completed our last objective here. So you're going to like open the door or whatever. This is the important part. When it says travel to the next area, okay, what you're going to do is not do that. You're going to open up your little emote wheel and you're going to leave dungeon. Now, after you do that, we're going to just pick another dungeon. It doesn't matter where you go. We're just going to go up to another regular dungeon. So we're going to travel just to a whole other, just a regular dungeon that's nearby. We're going to go into this dungeon. And what we're going to do is we're going to do literally the exact same thing that we just did in the Nightmare Dungeon. We're going to complete the very first objective until it tells us to travel to the next objective. Alright, so now it says, there you go, travel to the Shadow Depths. So now we're going to do the exact same thing as before. We're going to leave the dungeon. Your prep work is done. Now all you need to do is go back to your Nightmare Dungeon. And you can now infinitely reset it. You'll see when I go back in, the map will be covered over again. And all the mobs have respawned. The affixes are all still in place. And they're all still 85, 86, whatever level it was they were. So here we are, we're back at our Nightmare Dungeon. And this should be it. Everything is now reset. Clear for us to start clearing again. Now, from here, you can do as much or as little of the dungeon as you want. As long as you don't complete it. Do not fight the last little mini-boss. Don't do it. If you do that, that's it. The dungeon's cleared and you're done. You'll be out of the loop. So now what we're going to do is I'm just going to demonstrate the loop here, we're going to go through and I'm just going to clear out a little bit of this dungeon. And then I'll show you actually how it's reset as well. So this is also a good point to bring up here. It's important to pick a dungeon you can farm comfortably. You want it to be high enough level that you're getting good XP gains off everything, but not so high that you need to fight for every inch of the dungeon. That's super, super important. You want it to be efficient when you're farming. Alright, so here we are. So I've completed the first objective. We can open up the other door. We can even progress into the next part if we want to. Just for this example, though, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how to reset the dungeon. So what we're going to do here from this point is we're just going to go and leave dungeon. Legit. Just leave dungeon. Now, the cool thing is that when you leave dungeon, it actually resets it instantly. You don't need to leave game and come back like some of the other methods. You don't need to do anything else. You can just literally walk right back in. So you can literally walk right back into it. And you can see here, the whole map is reset. Now, the cool thing is the layout will essentially be the same. You might see some small variations here and there, but more or less it should be the same map that you just ran. And you can do this again and again and again and again. And that's it. That's how you do the infinite nightmare dungeon reset. In case anybody was interested or had heard about it, was wondering how people were doing this, that's how. It's just that easy. You just come in, you do that setup part, and then you leave dungeon, and it just resets. Now I have an infinitely spawning dungeon with a higher than normal magic find rate. So that's worth farming the heck out of. So make sure you get in on this before it gets patched, because I promise you this kind of thing is going to get patched super fast. Like, just get in there and farm that.